All right, cool. Let me just spread the link around.
Yeah, no. You sold up the one and then you sold it. Yeah. Okay. To keep the girls. No more typhoons. Do you ever take it out? Yeah. Damn. And where do you go? Is it motorized or is it? It's a soundtrack. That's great.
And watching
Well, yeah, just get you out of sticky situations. You need it, right?
Is it this one here? That's the one. That's the one. Can you see?
There's a little beach just around the corner.
Is that the one University of Science and Technology? Right, I know. Because I used to live in that area. I used to live in Bixway Sunshine, like a bit.
Okay, it's a nice beach, nice public beach.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of
Yes, I know it, yeah.
moving to that guy.
That's cool. But it's a bit of a bitch to get to it. Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of the day,
Okay, it's just as
all right, we're gonna start in a little bit, so just making sure the stream is working here. Okay.
Well, you've got a great view, I take it. Yeah, actually, I know that view very well. Yeah. Exactly. So can you see the University of Science and Technology? Yeah, sure. I know.
So when we
But I mean, if you're
Yes, these are offices. The only reason why we're doing this right now is because the event floor is not finished yet. So this is actually just that will the event floor. Or this office. Yes, no, this is
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hands up if you can't hear me.
audible.
If you can't hear me.
But then obviously.
That's your answer there.
Yeah, right there.
All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll get started now. So, you notice we're in a different location this time. This is Spaces. It's a brand new location just opened. We have our secondary office right here in this building. It's going to be used for the accelerator program when we launch it early next year. And so first off, just to let us know a little bit about what they're doing, I want to introduce Lindsay from Spaces, who's just going to tell you a few things about what Spaces are up to.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Welcome all to Spaces Sun House, the first full building co-working area. We are a Dutch company founded in Amsterdam in 2006. First location opened in 2008 on the canals in Amsterdam. And slowly but surely in 10 years, we have been growing and just launched in Hong Kong 3 months ago. This is one of the 5 locations that we have in Hong Kong. And as you probably saw when you walked in, it's not fully finished yet. We're still under construction, but we have opened a couple of floors. So we're very happy to have you here so that you can see the beginning of what this full floor co-working area is. Just a little bit of information about co-working. we decided to change the way working was done and how the old-fashioned way of working was in offices where you just have your own space, don't connect too much with your neighbors or with other people in the office. So we decided to pull everything out of the offices and create a space where people can really connect together. The thing that really makes spaces different is that we have our business club. And our business club is, in this case, 4 floors of spaces where you could work together with other people. You're on big tables, co-working booths, so that you can really connect with the people that are in this building, and that potentially they can help you to build your business further as well. That's what we do here. Feel free to ask me any questions afterwards if you're interested or if you want to know more about co-working, and have a great evening tonight. Thank you.
All right, so partway through Lindsay's talk there, you got to experience what it's like with the light on and with the light off. So you tell me, let's be democratic about it. Better on or off?
Off.
Hands up. Hands up for on. Hands up for on. Hands up for off. All right, go away.
Okay.
All right, thanks everybody. So thanks again for coming. I'm Ryan. I'm the Director of Acceleration here at Emergo HK. And I just want to tell you a few things about what we're doing here at Emergo, and then we'll get on to the main event, what I know you all came for, Ben here from Ledger, who's kindly agreed to come and join us tonight. And thanks for taking time away from all the FinTech Week events. I know it's hard, but you've got to pick your free food and drink somewhere. Might as well be here. So thanks very much. Anyway, so first off, what is Emergo HK? Most of you are probably already aware, so very, very quickly, we're one of 3 entities that's managing the Cardano project, the Cardano blockchain project. We generally tend to focus on commercial application and building use cases. So whereas IOHK, led by Charles Hoskinson, builds the software itself, we focus on trying to put this into companies to get startups building on it and stuff like that. Emergo HK has a very particular focus, and that's entrepreneurship and building use cases. So what we mean by that is instead of looking at these big plays to get Cardano into large companies and large corporations where it might never be seen, we want small companies, we want developers to know how to use it. We want small companies to be building dApps on it. And we want people to be using it for their startups and for their fresh ideas. And we do that for a very simple mnemonic we made up called ABC, because it's easy to remember. Everybody knows ABC. So, what does ABC mean? A is accelerate, B is build, and C is connect. And those are the 3 pillars of what we do here at Emergo HK. So accelerate, first of all, is, as I mentioned before, we want to launch an acceleration program here in Hong Kong. It's going to target small teams who want to build world-changing dApps on the Cardano blockchain protocol. Now, the idea is that we help them to build prototypes of their project. We help them with their business strategy so they can go out there and actually build a real business with real commercial applications that can actually succeed in the real world. So not a lot of talk, an actual real use case. We want that to help them to leverage the Cardano network to be a startup that's built on Cardano and backed by us the entire way. We want to help them to raise, we'll give them a certain amount of seed funding and help them to find other investors. But this is a key point. We don't want to go down the path of helping them to raise 20, 50, $100 million. That might sound like I'm trying to be a miser about it, but we have a certain perspective here at Emergo HK that we're not sure that an entrepreneur or a small team of entrepreneurs, no matter how dedicated, is going to be able to focus on building if they've got the option of going and renting a yacht and sailing around the Mediterranean because they have so much money. So we want them to build with a very small amount of money, and then we want them to help to raise more money later so they can go through a much more traditional acceleration and startup building process. That's what we're trying to do here. And we intend to launch that in February 2019. So once the New Year, Christmas, and the Chinese New Year out of the way, it's time to go. B is for build, and what we simply mean by that is that we try to identify roadblocks and any problems, basically anything that will get in the way of people using Cardano, building on Cardano, or using and spending ADA. Anything that gets in the way of those things, we want to identify the problem, and we're going to make the problem go away. Make the problem go away. It should be very easy for people to build on Cardano and to use and spend ADA. So these things include tools, it includes documentation, and it includes resources. It is not just about us building them ourselves, but we have a very talented team who can do that, but we also want to help other organizations, other companies, and other teams to build these things and to grow these things themselves. It's not supposed to be a centralized thing. We want to help other people to grow these things as well. And so to give you a few examples of the kind of things that we've been on recently, you may have heard of a couple of them. We've been announcing them. One of them, of course, is INX, the exchange. It's a joint venture between Emergo HK and INFX, the FX trading company out of Cyprus, a very well-known platform. It's a fully regulated crypto exchange. It's going to use ADA as one of its base pairs, as well as its own token, INX, and a few others as well. Firstly, one of the things it solves is just another place to go and buy and sell and trade ADA. So anybody who's been dealing with exchanges knows that some of them are almost literally holding you hostage. If you have a coin that you want to get listed, the listing fees are very high. We need people to be able to buy and sell ADA, and we need our teams that come through the project, if they have a token, to be able to list somewhere. And that's the point of us trying to build the infrastructure so that the Cardano ecosystem can continue to grow. But maybe more importantly than that, because INFX is already established as an FX trading platform, and because the accounts link between the two platforms, it allows two extra things. It allows non-crypto traders to dip their toes in the water and try out a little bit of crypto trading with very, very easy process. And then the reverse is true as well. Crypto traders have an opportunity to diversify their portfolio and try out more traditional investments. So we're very, very excited about that, and that'll be launched towards the end of this year. The second thing that we've done as well, and this is a brand new thing, this is called the Cardano update space. And so if I can maybe give you my very best sort of accelerator startup pitch here. Have you ever wanted to know something about Cardano and not been able to understand whether it's real news or fake news? No more. That problem ends now, thanks to Cardano update space. So in reality, what it is it's a place where we can gather all the information, all the projects and all the things that are going on with Cardano in one single place. And so you can very quickly check if something is real or not, if it's popular or not. And a really great place just to try this out. So we've got across the top here projects. These are things that are being built on or for Cardano. Events like the one tonight, for example. Research, this is research papers, learn, educational material, community stuff, and also key, scams. Sorry. People are laughing for a reason, but it's a very good point. This is a real problem. People pop up all the time on Twitter, on Facebook, on other social channels, say, I'm building such and such a thing for Cardano. Send me a raider and I'll put it in an account for you. Okay, sure. But how do you know that's a real thing or not? So this is one of the things that we want to solve. Users and also moderators, they have a chance to report things that they think are maybe not true, to comment on them, and to interact and make the whole thing very user-generated and user-based. And we want this to be the one-stop shop where everybody can come to get all the Cardano news that they need. So if anybody here tonight or anybody in the live cast, if you're building a project on Cardano, if you've got something about Cardano, a Cardano event, please come and post it here. It's a Cardano update.spaces. Space. So this would be an example of something that would be flagged. This is fake news. It's not Cardano update.space. No S. Cardano update.space. Well caught. Humans are still useful. Come and post it on here. If you found something that you think might be a scam, please come post it on here. Let the community know. And so this is a fantastic step forward. I think Gareth here, Director of Technology, has been very good at putting this together. It's kind of one of his brainchilds. So feel free to come and talk to him afterwards if you want to know any more information about how it works or what it's for. Finally, Connect. So Connect is all about getting all the different people, developers, partners, investors, interested parties, and most importantly of all, hodlers. So I know you crypto fanatics love that word. Yeah. Getting everybody together in one place and just allowing business opportunities to happen. Getting people together in a place like this and some drinks and some food, and getting people talking about how they can cooperate, how they can build together, how they can help to grow the community. And so one of the ways that we're doing that is we commit to doing 2 events per month. One of them is educational, one of them is social. This one is supposed to be one of the educational ones. I don't know how educational you're finding it so far, but don't worry, Ben's going to talk after me. It's going to make it very, very educational, right? Yeah, okay, so he knows. The other one is social. The other one is social. That's just about eating, drinking, and being merry and chatting. And the difference between the social and the educational, of course, is in the social event, if somebody starts pitching you their company like I'm doing right now, you can just walk away and go and get another drink at the bar.
Never happened.
So we got the next two events coming up. Put these in your, well, not put them in your calendar because there's no date, but keep them in mind. Mid-November, we've got a Linux meetup, so anybody who's building on Linux, Linux developers, stuff like that, come along and meet other Linux developers, other Cardano people all together. And then early December, we'll be doing an event talking a bit more of the details about the accelerator program that's coming up in February and letting teams know how they can apply to be a part of that program. So that's it. That's the very quick pitch. That's probably not as quick as you would get if you came to the social event, but that's as quick as it can be. So I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I want to thank Ben for coming and talking, everybody on the live stream who's listening in, and my team who really helped to put this event on in the first place and work hard every day. Where's the team? Put your hands up. Anybody in the Murgo shirt? So great for them. Round of applause for the team. So these projects are just the beginning. We've got a lot of other stuff coming up. So please follow us on social channels if you want some more. We put them up here. For you non-tech people, the cat is GitHub. And for you tech people, the F is Facebook. Just so you know which of those are. EmergoHK is the username on all the channels. Come follow us, find out about what we're doing, and we'll let you know about future events. Thanks very much.
Thanks. Hello. Thanks a lot, Ryan, and I just want to first thank the Emergo team for having us here today. So for those who don't know me, my name is Ben Soong. So Ledger's business out here in APAC. We're, I guess, we're 1 day old. We announced our office opening yesterday. So it's great to be here. I hope people. How many people have heard of Ledger here? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, that's not bad. Okay, so it's amazing for us at Ledger because when 3 months ago we didn't have a single individual on the ground at all. So I joined in August, and but when we look at our growth over the last several years, 30% actually of the NanoS users are actually so like we thought it was important for us to actually have presence on the ground to really start working with the community. And one of the things that we've kind of really noticed is for Ledger, a lot of investors. I was thinking about what's a good educational topic. So I don't come from an engineering background, so apologize if I can't answer some of the more. I think it's a pretty simple answer. It's really about adoption at the end of the day. But to get adoption, I think crypto is a very interesting asset class because unlike a lot of asset classes where traditionally they've come from institutional investors, traditionally they've come from institutional investors, crypto started. What we're seeing right now, the next big domino to fall is when someone like a BlackRock or a Fidelity come into this space, and when someone that's managing maybe $7 trillion of assets really starts putting in a couple $100 billion into crypto. So some of the questions that we see, so we talk to a lot of exchanges, we talk to a lot of investors, and the first question they ask is, well, how do I secure my crypto? How do I know my crypto is safe? Who is a custodian in the space today? So that's kind of what we're trying to do at Ledger, is really help solve that issue and bridge that gap. So just like talking a little bit about kind of the marketplace. I think when we think about crypto, it's becoming more and more attractive. For hackers, if we look at what's kind of happened in the first half of 2018, that's greater than what we've seen over the prior 7 years. So obviously, this is becoming an asset class that's attracting more and more attention. And if we look at sort of what's at risk, well, there's definitely kind of the physical risk. We were talking to a client in Korea recently, and he carries around a briefcase with 100 nanos. and each nano is storing around 150 to 200,000, and we're thinking, wow, somebody, all they need to do is just take a gun, pull you into a room, grab your private keys, and they're gone. Then there's obviously also the malicious insiders, and this is one of the biggest issues we've kind of seen with a lot of the big crypto funds, and something that concerns a lot of the asset managers is today, you know, I hold the private keys, I have a $500 million fund, Hawaii looks pretty nice, why don't I just take the money, take the crypto, I'm gone. So these are all things that we need to start thinking about how do we prevent in order for kind of new big entrants to really come into this space. So one of the first areas that we've been talking, types of firms that we're talking to are a lot of the actual crypto exchanges. And so I think the audience here is obviously quite aware, hot wallet, cold wallet, and you know, the biggest challenge that a lot of exchanges have today is a liquidity issue. It's not so much that it's unaware that the hot wallet is risky, that your private keys are accessible by hackers, but it's really a trade-off between efficiency and security at the end of the day. And unfortunately, a lot of the crypto exchanges are really focused more around driving efficiency, making sure that they have the liquidity to attract investors. So it's been very interesting, because as we look at the infrastructure that's in place for a lot of exchanges, we've even talked to an exchange that actually has 1,000 nanos that they're using as their cold storage. And so when we see that, we're kind of thinking, geez, like the physical human error that can actually now be available, that can happen, not because something will go wrong with the hardware wallet, but just getting your private keys mixed up, losing your private keys. It's a very tough thing to kind of manage. So what we're trying to do is help solve this problem in the marketplace, which is essentially now move. A lot of exchanges are looking at moving their also required. A lot of exchanges and a lot of funds did not have the ability to move from cold to hot in a short period of time. Now, the problem that we've solved at Ledger, and this is a new service that we've just launched called the Ledger Vault, we're essentially able to now, I would say, offer a wallet that we call temperature agnostic or temperature independent, because we want to move away from the whole concept of cold and hot wallets, but essentially you're able to move from the vault directly into your hot wallet in around 30 seconds. So we really solve a big liquidity issue, and a lot of exchanges have now come to us, and the first question that they're looking at is, okay, it's great because now we can actually manage our liquidity a lot tighter. Instead of every morning saying we need to move 10% of the total tokens or coins that we have into the hot wallet, we can now actually do it on a much more real-time basis, and this significantly reduces the risk in the marketplace. So just a little bit of in terms of how from Ledger, how we think about security. So I think, you know, when we look at kind of the past, it's sort of, you have one individual, you know, working at an institution, they're holding on the private keys, they also have the hardware wallet. That's kind of, I would call kind of era one. And then today, what we see is the model is where maybe you hold one of the hardware wallets, I hold one of the private keys, and people are trying to start create a bit of a segregation of duties. Now, what's really actually required in this space, what we personally think is full governance, and full governance doesn't actually exist in a lot of the places that we're seeing today. So what we're doing at Ledger is we're actually working partly as a consultant for a lot of institutions, helping them understand that individuals that can create accounts today, they should also be the ones able to trade accounts. And we're breaking up these duties, and individuals that can create accounts also need multi-authorization, and that's the whole point of the Ledger Vault, is that now to create accounts, to authorize transactions, we're basically creating a multi-authorization single sig type of process in place. So we actually see that the market will start adopting this kind of process more and more across the board, because this is what ultimately is going to be required as your bigger institutions start thinking about coming into this space. These are very traditional practices. You go to a very traditional bank to sign off on a large amount, they would have multiple signing officers. And likewise, this is exactly what's going to be needed in the crypto space. And so this is the problem that we're working on solving. So just a little bit around kind of the technology of how at Ledger, how we're looking to solve this problem is, so we're still thinking hardware to hardware at the end of the day. We're running on the exact same Bolos operating system that we use in the Ledger Nano S. And essentially, as I mentioned, we go with the multi-authorization, which basically pings the HSM, and we have your governance rules sitting inside the HSM. Your private keys are also sitting in the HSM as well. So as an example, if authorization individual number 1 sends a request, I want to transfer 5,000 BTC, it automatically pings the HSM, runs through the governance rules, looking at the logic check. Okay, we got 1 authorization. We now require 2 additional authorizations. It is individual B and C, and once the authorization goes through, it pings back the HSM, passes the governance check, and then the funds are released, and so your private keys are kind of released to approve the trade. So this is in a nutshell the infrastructure that we've now brought to market.
Sorry, did you just say release the private keys, or did you
Yes.
just sign the transaction?
Sign the transaction. Yes.
All right.
With their own hardware?
Yeah. So each of the individuals would basically have their own hardware device, which is Ledger Blue, which looks like sort of a small iPad, iPhone. Great. So I want to leave some time for questions, just because maybe pass it back to you.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks. Round of applause, everyone. Yeah, so just wanted to leave some time here in case anybody's got any questions for Ben, or God forbid for me. And so go ahead. Yeah, sure.
My question's for Ben. Why are people holding 100 ledgers when they could just set multiple pins on the ledger and store crypto on different accounts and things like that?
So that's a good question. So what we're seeing is, as a lot of the institutions everybody's trying to create. So before the Vault came out with the Nano S, people were starting to try to create segregation of duties. So the thinking was, if I split up the hardware and the private keys to different individuals, it would be a way to kind of keep each other honest. So we've actually seen firms with basically, let's say for example, 10 nanos spread across 10 individuals, and no individual would hold the private key related to the nano that they have. Yes.
I was wondering how your engagement has been with regulators so far. I mean, SFC obviously just released a statement earlier today about various crypto things, but one of the things they said was around there's actually a lack of kind of good custodial solutions, if you will. So that's the regulators' view, and they said that today. So I was wondering how your engagement with regulators has been across the region.
Yeah, that's a great question, and actually I haven't had a chance to read the circular yet, but the SFC actually did come by to our station earlier today, and they're definitely interested in learning more about the Vault. So I agree. I think right now, in terms of like custody services that are available in the marketplace, you have a couple of you have a few exchanges. You have someone like Coinbase offering BitGo. With Ledger, we have a joint venture with Nomura and Global Advisors. It's going to be called Kamanu. Now, I don't want to speak on behalf of the regulators, but my feeling is that they are looking. I don't see the regulation is going to deviate too much from traditional asset classes. So I think they're going to ultimately still look back at prior playbooks. So, for example, when you look at in the U.S., if you manage in excess of $150 million of funds, you are required to have a third-party custodian. So what we're seeing that's happening in this space right now is you have traditional players coming from the crypto space, like Coinbase, creating a custody service. We're also seeing traditional custodians now also moving into the crypto custody space. So from Ledger, our perspective, being a technology provider, we're ultimately happy to work with all types of custodians at the end of the day. So we have been talking to various traditional custody providers looking to adopt our technology, because so far at the moment, once again, the custodians that we see in the market, they're using a combination of hardware wallets like the Nano S as a form of security.
So one thing I like about Trezor is that the source code is open, so that you can actually audit it. An open source community can audit the security of this device. But the Ledger does not. You've not released your source code. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. But so with Ledger, we actually at the end ultimately we plan to also be an open source, because we want the community to also build on top of our infrastructure. So we actually have met individuals in the community that have, for example, built multi-sig on top of the Nano S. So it is available. It is something that we're very transparent about.
The source code?
Yes.
So how do I access your source code to audit it?
I can get you in touch with
Is
our
that so?
team.
So I
Yep.
can contact you guys? Oh,
Absolutely.
Oh, that's,
Yes.
Thank you for adding Monero.
No problem. Yes.
Say that your technical solution is awesome. Okay, I'm not going to question this, but I, with some partners, run an hedge fund in the Cayman Islands. And one of the requirements is that the custodian has to be approved by the regulators. How do you intend, because from what you said is that, yeah, you provide technical package, then you have to go to another custodian. This means costs. Are you willing to provide a full package in the future, or just stay as you are, just a technical provider?
Yeah, sure. So that's where, for example, our joint venture with Nomura would come in. So Komanu, the name of the custody service, is going to be fully regulated. It's going to have the insurance coverage. So the Komanu security infrastructure is going to be built off. It's going to be based off Ledger Vault. So at the end, so by Q2 2019, we will have a full service that's available for institutional clients.
is this in Numa, the Hong Kong company?
For Komanu?
You said Numa. I think it was in
Oh no, Nomura. Nomura, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so with
Different
the,
company. Okay.
When can we go forward to that?
it should be, so why I'm a little hesitant is conservatively, I like to say Q2, so April 2019, but there is a chance that it could happen in Q1. But basically the JVs are already formed. There's a working team that's building together the different types of services that the custody will provide.
What does HSM stand for?
So heavy security module.
Right. And is it do you have to pay some sort of subscription fee to access this feature, or?
Yeah. So for the vault, it's because it's an ongoing service. So it's the vault is ultimately meant for our institutional clients. So yeah. So we still suggest individual investors to still use the Nano S, but with the vault, if you do require the governance within your organization, you need the segregation of duties, then that model would have an ongoing subscription fee.
So you're not going to deprecate the Nano then?
We have one thing that we are actually working on internally with our product development team is also to potentially create a multi-sig feature with the Nano S as well. So it'll be something that kind of falls in between what the Vault service is as well as what the Nano S does today.
Sorry. I got one of the blues. The last one's out before you switch over to the Vault. So would we be able to access Vault as a non-institutional?
No, unfortunately not. So the blue will still be completely available for use, but we've basically moved the blue now to be kind of used as the hardware with the Vault offering.
Yeah, sorry, maybe I just didn't see the slide. But to confirm, so the product key information is all stored essentially by you, right? So the devices, the tablets, they're just for authorization purposes.
Correct. Yeah. So the private keys are all sitting inside the HSM.
But is the HSM controlled by Ledger, or is it the client controls it?
Well, the HSM is sitting within our data centers, but I wouldn't say that we don't have access to the private keys. So it is a full self custody by the client themselves. Yeah.
So you can cut the service at any time if you wish.
Yes. Yeah. So if so not no.
The regulator just needs to do it.
Sorry, just to understand the question. Sorry, just to understand the question correctly. You mean like from Ledger's side, like we could cut the service?
Yeah, like your servers go down or something like that. Over, game over. Like
Yeah, we're
Well, no. So the thing is, because all your funds, all your coins are stored on the public blockchain, so you can still recover it at the end. So with the way the HSM is designed is it's basically motion censored, so it's tamper proof. So the moment if it does get tampered, the private no one can actually get access to your private keys on the HSM.
Sorry, you said motion censored.
Yes. So if let's say somebody went in and were to actually try to pull out the HSM.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the physical security.
Yeah,
of it.
phys-
It is
yeah,
like-
yeah,
ah, I see,
yes,
I see, I
yes.
see.
Correct.
Yeah, who's building that?
Our HSM or the data center? Jamalto.
So I'm not too privy to the technical details, but if the private key is stored in the HSM, and then somebody tampers with it, the motion sensor goes off and wipes the HSM, you don't have access to your private keys, your coins are on the blockchain somewhere, but you said that you have access to your own private keys, and you can just recover it?
Yeah, so because just like the Nano S where you have your recovery password.
Oh, okay.
So with the Vault offering, instead of a 24 word, it's actually a 72 word password that is broken up amongst three different individuals. And in the case of the Vault, our clients actually, have you guys seen the crypto steel before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically kind of etched into the crypto steel your 24 word recovery password for the three individuals in order for you to regenerate your master seed.
And if somebody loses his crypto steal, it's over?
Or if somebody dies.
So what we recommend, what a lot of our clients do is they normally store the crypto steel into three bank safety deposit boxes. So you ultimately you need somebody to be able to get access, or you have to have a way to get back access to the crypto steel.
Okay, I hear you. Well, sorry, do you have any solutions or anything on the horizon regarding identity? So, like for example, like you can associate this address, my public address, with my identity. Do you have anything on the horizon with regard to that?
It's actually, that's interesting because we actually had a couple of banks come to us to ask about that type of technology. At the moment, not. At the moment, not.
When should you know?
Okay, thanks very much, everybody. Maybe one more round of applause for Ben. So I think there's still some food. Is there still some food? Yeah, there's still some food. There's plenty of drinks. So please enjoy, mingle, chat, make connections, whatever you want to do. And thank you very much for coming. Thank you.
Creating a second currency called Cardano. I'm building a browser on top of
All right. See you guys.
I am